What's going on, you guys? I have a quick deck tech here for probably my funnest deck to play at the moment, and that would be the new dragon from Tarkir. This is Betor, Ancestor'S Voice. He's a 5 mana, 3/5 flying lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, put a number of 1/1 counters on up to one other target creature you control equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. Return up to one target creature card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, this deck is all about losing life, gaining life, and reanimating creatures in your graveyard. And usually when I set up a deck or build a deck, I like to put my category or my cards into categories like the generic ramp, interaction, and card draw. But today I have them laid out in some different categories. I have a pile of recursion over here. I have a pile of getting stuff in the graveyard, whether that's sacking something or discarding something, or there is a milling card in there as well. I have a generic pile here of either ramp, as you can see the soul ring, or various interaction things. Then I have some life loss, I have life link or life gain, and then I have some generic +1/+1 counter stuff here. And then my favorite pile for this deck, every time I see this in my hand, this is what you really want to see in your hand. This is dies triggers for things, usually with +1/+1 counters on them. So let's get right into the deck. We'll start with this generic pile of just stuff you can see in most decks, most Abzan decks, that is. We have the Soul Ring, every commander deck. We have Deadly Rollick. That's just the silly Deadpool secret lair I got my hands on. Great removal spell though. I haven't had a copy of one of those, so I copped that. We have a Heroic Intervention. Kabira Takedown. This is removal. This is 2 mana, deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker. It's just MDFC. I like to run these in my decks. They are very powerful. We have a Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life, and you can pay 5 and give all your creatures lifelink. This card does very well in the deck because we do have a lot of life gain there for you. Smelling Tithe, we all know it, we all hate it. Another one of those MDFCs, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Just a good MDFC to have in a land slot. And then you have Assassin's Trophy. Destroy target permanent and give your opponent a land. So we have that. Now, let's get into another kind of generic category. It's only 3 cards for the recursion, but the commander does recur or reanimate on its own. Bolligad Recovery. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. One of the best MDFCs out of that Zendikar there. Zendikar set. This is a pretty good card. We have an old Animate Dead. Good luck reading this card. Essentially, you can put any creature from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and it gets plus or -1 from its power. Really good card. And then Reanimate. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and you lose life equal to its mana value. That last sentence is extremely important. Losing life, you could reanimate 2 creatures in a turn with Betor out. Let's talk about getting stuff into the graveyard now. We have probably the all-star of the deck here. This is one of the all-stars of the deck, I should say. Doom Whisper. 6/6 flying trample for 5. You pay 2 life and surveil 2, so you can pay as much life as you want, as much life as you got, and you can throw that many cards essentially into your graveyard. Really good. Disciple of Freyalise, another one of those MDFCs. She's a 6 mana 3/3 elf druid. When she enters, you may sack another creature. If you do, gain X life and draw X cards where X is that creature's power. Again, we don't mind sacking stuff in this deck. We have Greater Good, Stud card, sack a creature, draw cards equal to the sacked creature's power, then discard 3 cards. Both great card draw, sack outlet, and discarding creature cards that you want to reanimate into your graveyard. We have a Skull Prophet, another new card. This card seems pretty good. I haven't gotten to play it yet, but it is a 2-mana mana dork. But if you want to or need to throw stuff in your graveyard, it can also mill 2 cards. Bitter Triumph, removal. On top of the removal, you get to discard a card, throw something you want to reanimate in the graveyard, or you get to pay that 3 life. This card is awesome with the modality for the deck. Disciple of Bolas. This is like the Disciple of Freyalise. ETBs, sack another creature, gain X life, draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. Just not an MDFC. Still good though. Carrion Feeder, just a 1-mana sack outlet. The Michaeloth, this card is awesome. So when it ATBs, it's got a devour mechanic. As it enters, you may sack any number of creatures. This creature enters with twice that many +1/+1 counters. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 sapling creature token for each +1/+1 counter on Michaeloth. So if you have, I don't know, 3 creatures out, sack all 3 of those creatures as this enters, it gets 6 counters. And if you had any life gain that turn and you have Betor out, you throw that many counters on it, let's say another 3 counters. At your upkeep, you're gonna create 6 of those 1/1s. Card is awesome. Buried Alive, tutor, throw stuff in the graveyard. Search the library for 3 creature cards and put them in the graveyard. Pretty good. And then another one of those Deadpool cards. It is a Saw in half. I haven't got to use this card yet, but theoretically we can destroy a target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature. Except their power is half that creature's power and their toughness is half that creature's toughness, round up each time. Again, I haven't got to use this yet, but I think this would be just insane in this deck. So I had to throw it in there. Next, well, let's talk about the life loss category here. We have, and I have a few of these newer MDFCs from Modern Horizons 3. Let's talk about those really quick. I know I have at least another one. Yeah, we have 2 of them right here. Again, this is Graveyard Hate in itself. And then this guy is just removal in itself. But on the back of each of these, the common cycle of the monocolor cards, or MDFCs, you can actually pay 3 life to have those enter untapped. So, you know, pay 3 life and then reanimate something with 3 CMC or less at end step. Really good in this deck. And then we have, you know, Talisman, deal 1 damage each turn if you tap it. This is extremely relevant, more relevant than you'd think. I didn't think they were gonna be as good as they were until I started playing with them. We have that. We have another mana dork, Elves of the Deep Shadow. It's a 1/1 for 1 and taps for black and it deals 1 damage to you. We have another Talisman right here. We got lands that tap and make us lose life. It's a really good land, by the way, from another MH3 card. Another land that will have us tap if for white or black and deal damage to us. Another cave, dealing damage to us. And then let's get into the good stuff here. We do have the 1 ring in this deck. This card is insane in here. It loses you a lot of life, but we do not care because we are drawing a lot of cards and we're getting a lot of life. Great card. We have another Lord of the Rings card, Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, you lose 1 life and create a treasure. Usually you could probably just only lose 1 life on your turn if you're able to cast 2 spells, but usually a turn cycle you can create a couple treasures at least. So really good card. Feed the Swarm, it's removal. Pay 2, destroy a target creature, enchantment, and opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. Yes, it's a sorcery, but really we want to be casting all this stuff on our turn because Betor only triggers on our turn. Veladroth's Withered Bloom. 7 mana dragon for a 4/4. Flyer. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. When this creature dies, you gain 1 life. Pay 10 life, untap all lands you control, activate only once each turn. Tokens for sack fodder, and a lot of life loss in this card. And life gain. When those little tokens die, you gain life. Black Mark Connections, just a really bomb of a card. It's awesome. You can lose 6 life just off of this card a turn. We have Stargaze. This card is awesome. I haven't heard of it until I started building this deck. Look at twice X cards from the top of your library. Put X cards from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard, and you lose 3 life. This says everything you want in this deck. You're losing life, getting cards, and throwing them in the graveyard. Another land that I miss that will deal damage. Dark Star Augur. It's a 2/3 for 3 with Offspring, which means you can pay another black and create a 1/1 copy of it. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. Put that card in your hand, and you lose life equal to its mana value. Awesome card. Anguish Unmaking. Exile target non-land permanent, losing 3 life. Again, you're going to want to cast this on your turn to lose that life on your turn and trigger Betor. Toxic Deluge. A 3 mana board wipe. You pay as much life as you want into it to wipe the board. Phyrexian Arena, draw a card at your upkeep and you lose life. Good. Call of the Ring, really a similar thing. You just need a creature to choose as your ring bearer, and you pay 2 life and draw that card. And then Bolas's Citadel, man, this card is insane. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than its mana cost. And then that final ability, which a lot of people forget, I do myself at times, tap, sack 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses life, win con, and just insane value there for you. Let's get into the life gain section. This is a Bloodthirsty Conqueror. I actually pulled this at a pre-release event, and I've never gotten to play this card just yet. It's a 5/5 for 5, flying death touch, and whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. And yes, this is an infinite combo with our friend Vito over here. Let's try to get him out. So Vito says whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Conqueror says whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. And these just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, infinite. You can win the game. I'm not a huge fan of infinites like this, but I mean, I didn't pay for these. This was a promo that I got at one of my Friday night Magic events. Maybe the same pre-release. I can't remember. But they both have really good homes in this deck, and they're in here. We have a Soul's Attendant. We have a Prosperous Innkeeper. We have an Essence Warden, and then we have a Soul Warden. So all 4 of these cards are really similar. Actually, I have a Guide of Souls in here as well. All 5 of these cards are very similar. These 3 say whenever a creature ETBs, it doesn't have to be your creature, you gain 1 life. So that can be other opponent's creatures too. These 2 say whenever a creature you control enters, you gain a life, but they have other abilities as well. Prosperous Innkeeper, ETBs, you create a treasure. It is pseudo ramp in this deck. I like it. Guide of Souls. It gives you energy, and you can pay energy eventually and put counters on stuff. Pretty good card. We got a life gain land. We have another life gain land, which is relevant. It's a life gain and a counter at your end step. Envoy of the Ancestors. This card gives all modified creatures you control lifelink. So all creatures with counters on them get lifelink. This card is awesome in this deck. It's super cool. We have Exemplar. I forgot about that card. That should be in this pile. You have Exemplar of the Light. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on it. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on this creature, draw a card only once a turn. Really good card. Also the Pride, holy smokes, what a beast. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, create a 1/1 cat. And then if you have the City's Blessing, for each token you control that entered the battlefield this turn, create a copy of it. Awesome. Helad's Intervention. This is awesome removal for artifacts and enchantment. And you can also gain a ton of life if you have nothing else to use it for. You have Lathiel. This is very similar to Betor. It just triggers at each end step, so it's on other opponents' end steps too. And you can put that many counters on any other target creatures. Sweet card. And then you have Archangel of Thune. Flying lifelink, whenever you gain a life, put a counter on each creature card. Or, excuse me, each creature control. Super bomb card. Okay, let's go over these +1/+1 counter cards here. We have Kutzel, Malamet Exemplar. It's got the Grand Abolisher effect where they can't cast spells during your turn. And whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So anything with counters on it, dealing combat damage, drawing a card. We have Gyre Sage with Evolve, and you can tap for a green for each +1/+1 counter on Gyre Sage. Pretty good card. Kadama of the West Tree. Modified creatures you control have trample. Win con. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land and put it on the battlefield tap. Sweet card. We have one of those MDFCs. These ones don't let you, the double lands don't let you pay mana when they enter, but this card is sweet and it puts counters on stuff. Kami of the Whisperbird Hopes. It's got the Hardened Scales effect. If one or more counters we put on a permanent you control, that many +1 are put on that permanent instead. And you tap for a mana amount equal to its power. We have Tribute to the World Tree. Really good card. Whenever a creature ETB is under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2 counters on it. And then you have Arwen. Each other creature you control ETBs with a number of additional +1/+1 counters equal to her toughness. So if you get any counters on her, any creature is going to enter with a lot of counters. Speaking of counters, we got Vorinclex. Also, good luck reading this one. 6/6 with Trample and Haste, and if you would put counters on stuff on your battlefield, double the counters that you're putting on stuff, and then you half the stuff if an opponent would try to put counters on a creature they control. I know that was a really weird way to say it, but look it up. I promise that's what that says. You have Railway Brawler. 5/5 for 5, reach trample whenever another creature enters. Put X1 counters on it, where X is power. And then Quilled Great Worm, a 7/7 for 6 trample. Whenever a creature you control deals damage, combat damage during your turn, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. And this is a relevant line of text. You may cast this card from your graveyard by removing 6 counters from among creatures you control in addition to paying its other costs. Really good card. And then finally, this is my favorite part of the deck. I used to have a Rayhan deck where I was just sacking all my creatures, putting a bunch of counters on stuff, sacking it, and then manipulating where I could put the counters on it. I love this card. And this is one of the first decks I actually built. She's got a special place in my collection. So she is a 3 Golgari, a 1, a black and green. Whenever Rayhan ETBs with 3 +1/+1 counters, and whenever a creature control dies or is put into the command zone, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you put that many counters on target creature. Sweet card. Reluctant Role Model. He's going to have the same line of text. Whenever he or another creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, put those counters on up to 1 target creature. And he's got the survival thing from Dustmourne. At the beginning of your second main phase, if it's tapped, you can put a flying lifelink or +1 counter on it. Termagant Swarm. Whenever he dies, create a number of Tyrannid creature tokens equal to its power. And then we have Elenda's Hierophant. It's a 1/1 flyer for 3. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on her. Whenever she dies, create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is power. You'll see a Hangerback Walker here, where it enters with X counters, and when it dies, put a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying onto the battlefield for each counter on Hangerback. And you can pay 1, tap it to put a counter on it. Alenda, the desk grows 1/1 lifelink. Whenever another creature dies, put a counter on it. Whenever she dies, create X 1/1 vamps with lifelink where X is its power. And then finally we have Felisa, Fang of Silverquill. She's a 4-mana 3/2 flyer with Mentor. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, create X tapped 2/1 white and black Inkling creature tokens with flying where X is the number of counters on Felisa, or any non-token creature that died. So there's the deck. If you're interested in the deck, let me know in the comments if you would change something. Please let me know. I really did just create this YouTube account just to interact with other Magic the Gathering players. So if you have any thoughts on the deck, like I said, please let me know. I'm always open to tweaking these decks. This one especially, because I'm having so much fun playing with it. Anyway, if you would be so kind, please drop a like and just drop a comment. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Peace.